Monsieur Jean Simon. Monsieur Jean Simon, a billionaire businessman, is a man of power and charm, born into a wealthy family, with roots tracing back to the Arabian Peninsula. His sharp features, graying black hair, and meticulously tailored suits give him the air of an authoritative figure, the type whose presence commands respect in any room. His eyes, dark and calculating, often gleam with a mixture of charisma and manipulation. Jean is the type of person who knows how to navigate complex social situations to his advantage, using his wealth and influence as tools to control others. Though his public persona is that of a successful philanthropic entrepreneur, those who know him better recognize the darker side of his nature. He thrives on control and is willing to use his wealth to manipulate people to fulfill his desires, often at the expense of their well-being. He has built an empire in entertainment and real estate, and he views people, especially women, as commodities to be bought, sold, and molded for his benefit. Monsieur Jean's interest in Vicky is far from genuine. While he pretends to be her benefactor, offering her golden promises of stardom and wealth, his true intentions are self-serving. He recognizes her naivety and uses it as a stepping stone, promising her a future she desperately craves, knowing that it will make her indebted to him. What he doesn't reveal is that his plans have nothing to do with helping her career, but rather using her as a pawn in his games of power and influence. Scene 1. The False Promise. Vicky sat across from Monsieur Jean Simon in a posh restaurant in downtown Los Angeles, the city's skyline glittering through the large windows. She felt out of place in the luxurious setting, yet a thrill ran through her veins as Jean effortlessly poured her a glass of champagne. "You have great potential, Vicky," Jean said with a warm smile, his voice smooth like velvet. "I've seen many young women like you, eager, talented, but you have something special, a certain je ne sais quoi that could make you a star." Vicky leaned forward, her heart pounding. "Do you think so? I mean, I don't have much experience, just a few small roles here and there." Jean's eyes glittered, and he reached across the table, gently patting her hand. "Experience doesn't matter as much as people think. What matters is vision, and I see you, Vicky. I see the future of Hollywood, and I can help you achieve it." Vicky's eyes widened. "Really? You could do that?" Jean smiled, the corners of his lips curling with calculated charm. "I'm already working on several upcoming films, big films. I can get you a starring role in one of them. Just trust me, Vicky. You'll be a household name in no time. We'll make it happen together. I have the connections, the influence. All I need is for you to be willing to work with me." Her excitement bubbled over, and she leaned in closer. "You're serious? You'd do that for me?" Jean nodded slowly, his eyes locking onto hers, locking her in place. "I'm offering you more than just a role. I'm offering you a life of luxury, power, and everything you've ever wanted. But all you need to do is follow my lead. Stick with me, and you won't regret it. We'll make you the star of tomorrow." Scene 2. Manipulating. Vicky's ambition. Weeks passed, and the promise of a starring role in a movie that Jean had supposedly secured for Vicky never materialized. Yet, every time she questioned him, he spun a new story, giving just enough hope to keep her hooked. One afternoon, Vicky found herself alone in Jean's penthouse office. She sat on the edge of a sleek leather chair, staring at the plans for a supposed new project, a major film, with her name as the lead. John entered, his face smooth as always, holding a glass of scotch. He handed it to her. "Here, drink up. We need you sharp for our upcoming meeting. The financier's coming in soon." Vicky hesitated, feeling the weight of his presence. "Jean, when will I know for sure? About the role? I've been waiting for months." Jean set his drink down and approached her, his voice soothing. "Vicky, patience is key. The industry doesn't work overnight. But you have to understand something. You're the star I'm grooming. I've been securing the best opportunities for you, but we must be careful. We can't let anyone else take what's rightfully yours." He paused, letting his words sink in. Vicky's breath caught in her chest. "But the contract?" she asked, uncertainty in her voice. Jean smiled a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "The contract will come in due time. But for now, it's about trust. I'm giving you the golden key, Vicky. All I ask in return is that you stay loyal to me. Stay by my side, and everything you've dreamed of will be yours." Vicky's heart fluttered, but a small voice in her mind urged her to question his sincerity. Yet, the dream of fame and wealth was so strong that she ignored it, driven by the image Jean had painted for her, an image of red carpets, paparazzi, and luxury. Scene 3. The Hidden Agenda. As Vicky's trust in Jean deepened, so did his control over her. Jean had managed to maneuver her into a situation where she was now wholly dependent on him, both emotionally and professionally. While he continued to promise her stardom, his true agenda had never been clearer: to use her as a pawn in his larger game of influence and power. One evening, after a dinner with potential investors, Jean walked Vicky out to her car, his arm casually draped over her shoulder. "You did well tonight. The investors love you," he said with a slight smirk. Vicky smiled, feeling validated, but a nagging feeling persisted. "So, when do we start shooting? The role? When do I finally get my chance?" Jean's smile widened, but there was a sharpness behind it now. "Soon, my dear. Very soon. But remember, your success is tied to me. The more you trust me, the more you'll see the world open up." As Vicky climbed into her car, she noticed Jean watching her from the shadows, his gaze calculating. The promises he made were like a tether that bound her, keeping her eager, hopeful, and unaware that he had no intention of fulfilling them. Vicky was simply a means to an end. For Monsieur Jean, the game was never about her stardom. It was about expanding his power, with her as his latest pawn. Written and directed by Hosam Ibrahim.